Welcome to 843 TV. Today we are at the downtown Beaufort in the City Hall. And if you haven't been over here to Beaufort lately, you need to come check it out. Today we're going to be learning all about the things happening with the Town Council and the City Council. First up we have Bill Prokop, who is the City Manager. Next up we'll be hearing from our very own Mayor, Billy Kaiserling. And finally we have David Pritchard. He is new in town and he's the Director of Community and Economic Development. So stick around for this episode of 843 TV, where communities come to speak.
.843 TV, where the Low Country comes to speak.
.843 TV, where communities come to speak. Welcome to 843 TV. We are at City Hall in downtown Beaufort, and we're going to be learning a lot of very important information about what's happening in the city of Beaufort. First up, we have Bill Prokop. He's the city manager, and we're going to be learning a lot that is very educational today. Bill, thank you for taking the time to be here with us today.
Our pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Now, recently you had a city council retreat. Not the retreat in the sense that it was a necessarily fun thing, but very informative, very educational. Let's talk about some of the things that were discussed.
Sure. Our retreat is held annually, and it's a chance for the council to get together with staff to say, okay, what are the important issues that we need to be addressing for the next several years in the community. And our retreat was over the last 2 days. We basically took the plans and goals that we had established 2 or 3 years ago, refined them, and have now in the process of laying out, it'll probably end up being 6 or 7 major goals that the city wants to accomplish over a 2 or 3 year period. And obviously from work that we've already started, stormwater and handling rising sea levels and climate change, etc., is one of the major issues that we'll be addressing. But also the economic development initiatives that we have to be able to create more jobs that are good paying wages, and tied to that is affordable housing. It's not just limited to Beaufort, but we need affordable housing throughout the county and whatever we read throughout the state. And it's not just is this cheap housing, but is it housing, whether it's for teachers, policemen, firemen, our public works workers, and just the average person, because there just is a shortage of housing. And so that's what our retreat was, is to lay out the goals that we want to accomplish. And right now, in fact, today and the next week, we'll be refining those, and that will go right into our budget process as to what are the important things that need to be addressed.
And that's always the fun part. So let's share how you expect some of these initiatives to go into your budget coming up.
Well, some of the initiatives, for example, the stormwater, we just recently bonded in $6 million to start addressing stormwater in the Mossy Oaks region, and we're doing plans. We know that we have 9 major areas that we have to deal with. It's all not going to happen in the next year, but it's probably over the next 3 to 5 years. So that, what are the critical areas that we have? What growth can we project? We are looking at right now overall in the city, we're projecting about a 2.5% growth from revenue. And that's because of state laws and requirements, we can't just go say, okay, we found a new revenue source that we're going to charge something for. So the growth of revenues with the projects that we have to balance. So as we go through the budget process, we will have priorities as to what we need to get done. But again, from the retreat and from our budget, we really want to, A, take care of stormwater, but B, address the affordable housing shortage, because if we do get new companies, which we believe will be coming to our area, they need to have workers.
Yes.
The workers need to be living here, not commuting an hour to get to work. So,
and be able to afford to live here, of course. There is the key word right there.
Exactly. So that's what our major emphasis.
And we've been talking about your planning for the last few years. We've been coming here and doing the show, and I have to say, you all have done a wonderful job with the streetscape and everything here. So if I live in the county, just in the other side of the county, but if people haven't been to Beaufort lately, you need to come over and see that you all are really working hard and well to beautify this area and put all these things into place. So you had another little project, if you will, called Beaufort 2030 Lab. What in the world was that?
We decided about a year ago that we needed to start looking a little bit more long-term. Our budget, we try to do our budget on a 2 to 3 year cycle. But we said, okay, what do we really want Beaufort? What does the community want Beaufort to look like? And we picked 2030. Could have been 2040, but we picked 2030. What we did is we brought in one of the leading futurists in the U.S. out of Wisconsin, a woman by the name of Rebecca Ryan. And she led us for 2 days. We met in January, and then we met again in February for full days. And what we did is tried to involve a cross-section of the community. We brought in students from middle school, we brought in students from high school, we brought in college students, we brought in presidents of some of the companies, department heads, nonprofits, and just regular citizens. So that we had a cross-section, not just the typical 10 or 20 people that always come to a meeting and have a say, because we wanted to hear, because the middle school students today will be the people sitting around this table
That's right.
in 2030.
Absolutely.
So they may not have the refined thinking of what it means to be in 2030, but we wanted to see what's important to the young people. We need to look at everything that we're doing. What type of activities are we providing in our parks? Because, you know, this area has been known more as a retirement community.
Right.
But now we're seeing the colleges expand. We're seeing more vitality in the downtown happening. We had 3 new stores open in the last couple months. So we have to start to adjust. And from this lab, the leading things which I have right here that came out of the lab were the concerns of, as I said, these 94 peoples. First of all, increase the number of affordable housing units, which we've talked about. Increase diverse career opportunities, so a student can go from high school to college and then want to stay here because there's something to do. Increase the retention of locally trained students, as I just said. Also, a thing that popped up that we weren't really that familiar with was addressing the childhood poverty that's going on in our area. Attract and retain talent in healthcare and teachers in the educational side. We need to collect good data in measuring our metrics and are we being successful, and really to improve our collaboration with in our whole community, whether it's between the city and the county, the different municipalities, et cetera, because, you know, affordable housing or poverty doesn't stop at city lines.
Right. And on that note, there's a lot to talk about there. We need to take a break. So you all stay right here. We're going to be back with more 843 TV from City Hall.